thank you. The last to speak before we open the question and answer with the press and other guests here is the President of the University of the Philippines. We'd like to ask him to say a few words and to greet you. You know, he's the namesake of the saint that inspired your movie twice over, because his name is Jose Maria Mariano. University of Asia and the Pacific.
Actually, it's the University of Asia and the Pacific. We had a premiere showing of your film. We had a premiere showing of your film last Saturday. We invited some ambassadors to come, and the people from the media, and of course academicians and politicians. And it was for a benefit of our scholarship fund here, and for our cooperative. And I wasn't really expecting all that number of people who came. It was in a premiere cinema for 1,100 seater cinema, and I said to myself that if about half of the people there, half of the cinema would be filled, I would be very happy. But it turned out maybe as much as 85% actually came. And it was the second time that I had seen the film. First time that I saw the film was in, of all places, Argentina. I was visiting, there was a seminar there, and we had a special showing of your film. The second time was tonight. The third time was tonight. I dropped a little for a few moments in the showing of the film for educators earlier this evening. But it was the second time in the cinema house there for the premiere showing that I thought of asking you a question, which you don't have to answer right now, but I'd like to plant this question. I wondered if the fact that the girl in the asylum talked about God being a monster whom you had to fight with love had something to do with perhaps the deepest dragon of all that we can find in the human heart, who, if you are bad, will think that he is very bad, but if you're good, may turn out to be the person who will consume you with his fire. And I thought that the deepest dragon that one could possibly find in the human heart is God himself, but obviously it's going to be one of the good dragons. That's the first thing I wanted to say. The other thing is I agree with what earlier was said about the humanity of Saint Josemaria, which I thought you depicted very well and very amusingly when, again, he was there praying in the asylum, and the girl appears behind him and begins to speak and startled him. And the way he showed his being startled, you know, that there was a little bit of, oh, why does it have to happen to me? You know, this, he was praying there. I thought I liked very much, and well, I was hoping that we were going to get Charlie Cox to come as well tonight to talk with us tonight, because I had plenty of questions that I would have wanted to ask him, but well, we have the better person, the one who thought of the film, and I'd like to thank you very much for putting all that effort and giving us an opportunity to see Saint Josemaria, my namesake, from a different angle, from the angle that you saw him, very human, and at the same time in the middle of the world, putting a sense of unity in a society that was disintegrating. Thank you very much for this big opportunity that you gave us to see the saint. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Sorry about the slip-up. I get mixed up between my alma mater and my employer. Ladies and gentlemen of the press and of the academe and other disciplines, The floor is now open for you to engage Mr. Roland Joffe, writer and director of There Be Dragons. The first brave soul, please.
I'm Sir Roland. I'm John Francis Lagman of the Union of Catholic Asian News. I only have 3 questions. Of course, for the record. To whom do you dedicate this film? And then, how difficult is it to produce or direct such film? And what is the relevance of this film to this modern age?
What's the relevance of the film to what, sorry?
Yes, the relevance or the value of this film for us all.
Well, let me start with that first, because I think that's a very powerful question. We're all a product of the history that we inherit from our parents. You know, we think that our lives, in a way, are the first page of our book. But what we forget is the first page of our book is page 50 in the book of our parents' lives. So very often we forget how much we inherit the world and how much we're a product of the world we inherit. And we've inherited a world which has been more divided, more crucially divided, across many fronts than it's ever been before, particularly in politics, and